Greetings, my fellow freedom lovers, sovereign thinkers. Thank you for tuning in to LL3 Podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the wild, wonderful mountain state, and today's date is Sunday, June 27th, 2021. Looks like there's more reports about the controversy that happened in with the collapse, the horrific event that happened in Surfside, Florida, which is north of Miami Beach, on the Chapman Towers. So more information's coming out. Looks like 5 are now dead still. So that's all I got so far, but I gotta keep tabs on what's happening. And I was reading an article when a federal court judge, the NRA, filed a lawsuit against the law from the Stoneman Douglas Act. About you'd be 21 and over to buy a rifle. Before it'd be 18, and there was no waiting period, and it'd be a 3-day waiting period. And the question I have is, why the hell they brought it to a federal level? It should have been in the state. Okay? Because the fact is this, it has to be petitioned and voted on by the people of Florida. That's like you got to go to proceedings under Article 12 of our state, of the Florida Constitution. They haven't done that. Like, everything was done quick, fast-tracked. And, of course, Flip-Flop Rick Scott, now Senator, signed it. So, that was a bad, an invalid contract. But the NRA decided to bring it to the federal courts. I'm like, why? There's no such thing as incorporation doctrine. That's what everyone's focusing on. You can't do that. Because I remember living down there for 44 years, okay, for a long time. I voted against the 3-day waiting period on handguns. Okay, I voted no on that, and I was like 19 turning 20 the day before. And the local options. I opposed that too in 1998. It was a vote, and I shot it down. I voted against it, but a lot of people voted for it because, oh, well, we got to make everything safer. But realistically, it doesn't go that way. So that's why, a few things that I just like, sometimes, folks, I just scratch my head. Everyone has this habit of going to the federal courts on state and local issues. And you can't do that. Okay? You got to act locally, not have the feds take care of all of our problems, especially judicial supremacy. So it really just baffles me the most when I read these things and scratch my head. And I did a show on way back, like almost 3.5 years ago, when they tried to do that constitutional amendment on, is it a few years ago? A few years ago. 2019, November 2019. And I fought a constitutional amendment saying they want to have a ban certain semi-automatic weapons. I told everyone it was null and void, and I laid down all the facts on why, including that could affect the militia, the state militia under Article 10, Section 2. Just to let you know, the National Guard and the militia are two separate entities. That is a fact. Because if you read it thoroughly, the commanders will be from the military, including the National Guard. So those are facts. Right on his face, or other words, prima facie. That's why I always gotta look into that more. I always believe in thinking, acting locally. That's why certain movements I praise, even Floridians first. I miss those guys. In Broward County, there's one in Dade. They're doing things on the local level, and that's strategic. So I always I recommend check out FloridiansFirst.us. Of course, a lot of them are MAGA lovers and all that. However, there's things we have a lot in common, and that is the key, common interest. So I know many people are fighting back on this critical race theory, CRT, including the black community, which is a lot of folks out there, particular folks out there, saying, what the? It's like Twilight Zone, okay? And, so, just one of those ordeals. But always pay attention to what's going on around you. You think what's happening in the United States is just a problem, exclusivity. don't even sweat it. This is worldwide, folks. I've seen this one video clip on this great freedom march in London. The Londoners are not taking it anymore, which is fantastic. You gotta, like I said, because you gotta tell these bobbleheads in there to stick it. Plain and simple. That's what natural rights are. Common law. And a lot of states, like over here, we have common law. So, know these things, folks. Try not to rely on the federal government to take care of your problems. So go out there, get involved, attack them on a local level. A lot of treason going on, of course. And all that is good. Yeah, it's a little cloudy out here in West Virginia. Kicking back in my house, I have my adopted a puppy named Luke, part of the family. All the dogs getting along with them, so which is good. And he's just like sleeping because he runs around a lot, like to chew on things, teething. But it's all well and good. So hopefully everyone out there is doing well in these crazy times, wherever you're at. And shout out to my listeners in India as well. I love you guys. Canada, Russia, don't matter, okay? It's just one of those extravaganzas we gotta prepare for. Okay, so I decided to talk about this one article here from the Epoch Times. And came out yesterday by Alan Zong. Louisiana governor vetoes gun law, retains concealed carry permit requirement. And as it reads here, Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards vetoed a bill passed by the bipartisan state lawmakers that would have mixed the permit requirement for carrying a concealed handgun. The governor, a Democrat, says he's a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. I'm a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. And an enthusiastic outdoorsman hunter. But he can't support permitless concealed carry. Okay, so right there. He's against natural law. Natural rights, folks. Right there. Plain and simple. He don't like natural rights. So he want you to get permission to carry concealed. Want you, the folks in the Pelican State, the bayous. Right? So, I like what it says here. I simply cannot support carrying a concealed carry firearm without proper education and safety training, he said in the statement. Our current system strikes the right balance of ensuring that people can bear arms while also keeping reasonable permitting and training processes in place. Simply put it is not too much to ask that a person who wishes to carry a concealed weapon in public be required to attend basic marksmanship and safety training so they understand the regulations associated with such an action. Oh, government approved. Yeah, absolutely. State knows best. And what's really funny about this, folks, if you're going to learn carry and so forth on certain firearms, I always tell folks, take the initiative on learning from this. Educate yourselves, go to these classes, study, learn the safety proceedings, get more clarification. I'm not arguing about that. But on the governmental level, you have to have permission, okay? So he goes here. For these reasons, I have vetoed the permitless carry bill, the governor added. Oh, that's why, because I want the people to have permission so I can keep them under wraps. Registration. That's what the permits are, right? So I want to continue on here. Senate bill number 118 allows any resident who is 21 years of age or older who is not prohibited from owning a firearm by state or federal law to carry a concealed gun without a permit. You know how many criminals are probably carrying right now without permits in Louisiana, mainly in New Orleans? Legally qualified gun owners shall not be required to possess a valid concealed handgun permit issued by the state of Louisiana to carry a concealed handgun in the state of Louisiana, the bill states. The bill also requires the State Department of Public Safety and Corrections to provide a free 60-minute online concealed handgun education course. Well, there's plenty of them out there, folks. You really need the state to tell you these things. So I'll continue on. The scope of the online training includes sections on concealed handgun basics and nomenclature, firearm-free zones, use of deadly force, and interactions with law enforcement officers. However, the course is not required for concealed handgun carry. Okay. State Senator Jay Morris, the Republican sponsor of the Senate Bill 118, told the Lafayette Daily Advisor that he's not surprised but still disappointed for the governor's decision. The people of Louisiana want it, and hopefully we will join our neighbors like Texas and Mississippi and pass the constitutional carry without the governor's signature, he said. The bill was passed in the state Senate, and House with bipartisan support. One Democratic supporter and 7 Democratic House members joined the Republicans to vote for the bill. The legislator appeals to have enough votes to override the governor's veto, and it was passed in the state House and the Senate by 73 to 28 and 27 to 9 votes respectively. So, according to this, it can be considered a possible 2/3. Yeah, so I don't know what the percentage is over there. State Senate President Patrick Page Cortez and State House Speaker Clay Shaxinator didn't respond immediately to requests from the Epoch Times for comment. It's unclear if the state Senate and the House will organize a vote to override the veto. However, Shaxinator said earlier this week that he supports the veto override session after Edwards vetoed an unrelated bill, the Lafayette Daily Advertiser reported. The override session, which could happen at the end of July, would be the first one since the Louisiana Constitution was adopted in 1974. The Epoch Times reached out to the National Rifle Association for comments. Yep, I got someone want to cut the lawn. All right. Yep, I got good neighbors here too. So one's cutting the lawn. So I'm going to continue on here. It's interesting about this because I was reading the vote on here on Louisiana's right to bear arms, which was Amendment 2 in 2012. And it's interesting here because it mainly does talk about this, which I believe is Section 11, I believe, or 13. I think it's 13. I got to look it up again. But it was approved, and the text measure ballot reads as follows. Do you support an amendment to the Constitution of the state of Louisiana to provide that the right to keep and bear arms is a fundamental right, and any restriction of that right requires a higher standard of review by a court? Of course, it was 73.45% said yes, and 26.55% said no. That's according to the Louisiana Secretary of State's website. And the supporters of this supporters of the amendment said it could guard against possible future court rulings that may affect the Second Amendment. And opponents here said opponents argue that the measure could result in a lawsuit repealing the state's prohibition of concealed handguns at colleges. So there's a lot of good pros and cons on this. So, and of course, this was what the editorial position here. Opposition advocates say we are not alone in the opposition to this proposal. The Council for a Better Louisiana opposes the amendment. The rejection of Amendment 2 does not endanger the legitimate gun owner at all. We hope voters will see through this proposal and reject it. It's funny because you have to have the judicial decision on what's good or not. So it's just a matter of opinion. And of course, if you actually look at the Louisiana Constitution, all right, about permits, it does contradict Section 5, right of privacy, which is every person shall be secured in his person, property, communications, house, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures or invasion of privacy. And it's actually related to the Fourth Amendment. So it's very, very self-explanatory on here. And that's one thing I'm not too crazy about, which is understandable. And, of course, Section 11, okay, which is very similar, that was voted on by the people. The right of citizens to keep and bear arms is a fundamental right. It shall not be infringed. Any restriction on this right shall be subject to strict scrutiny. And what I'm going to do, there's an amendment on there, a link, Louisiana, the Right to Bear Arms Amendment 2. It's linked to this actual page. So, folks, I encourage you to look at this. And even though it's about the permit itself, because it was a right of privacy, technically I consider it registration under the state. Plus, if you actually go to the other section here, which is, you could say consider permits, I consider this respectfully an impairing contract. Law says here, prohibited laws. Okay, no bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contract shall be enacted. So if you have a permit and you got natural rights, how is that legit? Because if you look at the unenumerated rights below that, Section 24, the enumeration in this Constitution of certain rights shall not be denied or disparaged, other rights retained by the individual citizens of the state. So there's a few contradictions here on permits. Okay, it's permission, it's privilege. Okay, they call it a fundamental right, but they could do certain restrictions. It's not a right; it's a privilege, conditional privilege. So, and I recommend folks re-examine that amendment and actually have to get rid of the second sentence on the second sentence. Begin with any restriction. That's Section 11, Article 1, Section 11. That will be the right thing to do. All right? Because you don't need permission. Okay? You have a natural right. The right to keep and bear arms is natural. Period. With no exceptions. And I don't have to even use the Second Amendment because I'm focusing on the state level. Okay? The state of Louisiana. A lot of these other states within the Union have these flip-flopping language, including Florida. I'll give you that as well. I live there. I know these. I'm very familiar with these areas. I think but people should petition and get rid of the second sentence. Any restriction on this right shall be subject to strict scrutiny. Just leave it, the first sentence, as is, period, with no exceptions. There's your solution. Is it going to be perfect? Absolutely not. Is people going to try to use that and combine with crime? That's invalid, irrelevant. In other words, void with no force. Always remember too that the people have rights too under Article 1, Section 1. Okay, or origin and purpose of government. All government of right originates with the people. Okay, it's founded with their will alone. It is instituted to protect the rights of the individual and for good of the whole. Its only legitimate ends are to secure justice for all, preserve peace, protect the rights, and promote the happiness and general welfare of the people. The rights enumerated in this article are inalienable by the state and shall be preserved inviolate by the state. So, that is my intake on this. Okay, if you have to make that vote, do it in the election form. That's fine. Because you might have to get that change to protect. Because if the legislators in Louisiana decide to overturn it, they have the merits, then they could do it. But I recommend folks in there to do a petition to delete that second sentence of Section 11, Article 1 of your state constitution. And that will be better off on its face. Done deal. All right, folks, that will be it. I thank everyone for listening. Plus, feel free to download and share this throughout your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, or sense on this issue you want to check out, whatever you do, please send your correspondence with decorum. Furthermore, I'll leave the footnotes of this episode on my Spreaker page. And if you want to contact me, questions, all that'd be great. You can hit me at LookYouLuckNumber03@protonmail.com. If you want to do a donation, you can go to paypal.me or cash.app/Loki Luck number 3. If you want to donate to the Epoch Times, subscribe to them. I encourage it. I always enjoy reading their articles because they try to put things in depth. And I'll be hitting a few other areas as well. So I'm just getting back in the swing of things here. So I encourage folks, hey, support the little guys. Get good information out there and share with others. All right? Once again, thank you for your time. But always remember that demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Keep on spreading the love. And may your guardian spirits be with you.